Sorry about that. This is a continuation of the last video. But like I was saying, Big's intention was to basically lay low, right? And Puff told Gene Deal, the security, that that's what was going to happen. Now, I don't give a fuck. And now this is me saying this if everything is true. I don't give a fuck how much in the industry I am. I don't give a fuck how famous, how many cameras that's pointed at me, especially during the 90s. In New York and in Cali, with or without that beef, I'm having security around. Because even if you wasn't worried about gangsters running up on you, you have a psycho fan running up on you. There's a history of musicians who get killed by psychotic fans. So even if you didn't have to worry about gangsters getting big or yourself, why would you not have security ready? That's a setup plan. So what I'm saying is, and I started, if all of this is true, I started putting two to two together. Some pieces together, some puzzle pieces together. It's weird how Pac, before his death, was planning on starting his own label called Euthanasia. Had a chain made and everything. And what made me think about this again is something Gene Deal said in this Last Big Night video. Pac was about to make a label Euthanasia. Pac also, I heard that Pac was going to sign Big and they were going to, do something together. That the beef was pretty much over. Now that beef was big money for Suge and Puff. That was big money for them. But dead in the beef, I don't think they realized could have been even bigger money if their artists were together. Or they did realize that. But if their artists were together, they could have left them. Big could have left Puff. Pac could have left Suge. And did work together. And all that money would have been lost for Puff and Suge. So, during this time, Pac had the Outlaws and was getting ready, once his contract expired with Death Row, was going to create Euthanasia. Apparently. Big, according to Gene Deal, had a contract that he showed Gene Deal that was for $65 or $6.5 million for another label to also have Junior Mafia with him, which was on the come up as well. Cameron, who ended up being a big CEO and doing things with Dipset, which ended up being huge, and other artists. And Big himself, the king of New York. Shit, the king of rap. You know what I'm saying? One of the kings of rap next to Tupac. And I want to include Big Pun and Big L and a few other artists. In that, I think it's a kingdom of artists. I don't want to say there can only be one king, because they all had styles that really changed hip-hop for the best as far as creativity and lyricism. But back to the subject. So if you think about this, if Pac left and had Euthanasia, whether Big signed with Pac, which he wouldn't have been able to because Pac would have been dead already by this time, if Big would have joined Pac on that, it would have been over for Puff and Suge. They would have had, who would they have had to compete with those two artists? They would have at the top of hip hop right then and there. There was nobody fucking with them. Nobody. Not Jay, not Nas, not nobody. Nobody. Not Busta Rhymes. Nobody. Nobody. At that time. Everybody was tuning into them. Upon Pac's death, which would have been a huge moneymaker for Suge had he had the rights to all Pac's music upon him being signed to Death Row. And he wouldn't be losing money for Pac leaving and having to compete with that with another artist. It would have been a moneymaker for Puff because he wouldn't have shots fired at Big all the time, and Big having to worry about not being able to tour in Cali. Now, though, with rumors of Big maybe leaving, or maybe Puff might have figured it out and caught wind, and I'm not saying he did it, innocent until proven guilty. This is saying, if this is all true, what Gene Deal is saying, Puff would say, well, I own the rights to this nigga's music. He owes me money. I own everything this nigga. Whatever. He's a street nigga that I turned into an artist. He had the talent. I just molded that shit into where he could be mainstream. Pac played a big part in that, though. But me as Puff could take all the credit for that. He's worth more dead than alive. Maybe set him up. Go and watch Gene Deal's The Last Big Night and pay attention to shit he says. If you believe what he says, yo, the industry is fucked up, because there's a lot of artists that died after possibly getting ready to leave their labels. There's a lot. Or refusing to sign to a label. Competition is bad for the artists you already have, especially when that competition is so fucking great your artist can't compete. You got to get rid of them. And you will not, so think about it. Movies were made after them. Pac's mom had the rights to a lot of Tupac's catalog. She was going through a lawsuit with the movie company, if I'm not mistaken, about certain depictions about Pac in the movie. She dies after the movie was released. She would have won a huge settlement, I'm pretty sure. Big's mom was in the same thing. I believe she's still alive. There's a lot going on we need to pay attention to. Pay attention to what's going on. Like I said, y'all really need to pay attention. But that's all. Just think about, if you're trying to become an actor, or you're aspiring to be a musician, or whatever it is that you do, be careful. Because at the end of the day, it's a business. The world isn't all sparkles and fairy dust like we want to believe and like we hope it could be. Please pay attention. Keep eyes in the back of your head. Keep your head on your shoulders. Be strong. Build your following up independently so you have something to bargain with. Don't just sign anything. I know a lot of you in desperate situations where you might not even be able to put food on the table, and that opportunity comes and you like, fuck it, I'll sell my soul to feed these kids or feed myself or feed my family or whatever. We don't need to see any more deaths. We don't need to see any more people having meltdowns because they're being robbed. It's much worse being broke and having a bunch of shit that's worth nothing around your neck and on your body once you've worn it, and being in this position where you should have a lot and you now owe. It's better to be broke and have nothing than to be broke and be in debt, is what I'm trying to say. So with that being said, I want to wish all of you a long life, many blessings, good health in this pandemic, and I want all of you to spend as much time as you can with your family. Spend as much time educating your children and educating yourselves. And please don't let the media fool you into believing things that subconsciously you know doesn't make any sense. That being said, peace.